So, do you know that there's a crazy thing going on in Ireland at the moment? Like their population is growing exponentially.
There's a crazy thing. Chum, do you not know that the Irish are crazy? There's been crazy things happening in Ireland ever since the Irish were invented.
They say that it's Dublin,
What about Dublin?
their population.
It's Dublin. That is
I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm done for the night.
I need to ask you a question.
Sure.
Why are you not in brand?
Because my brand is dirty. It's under my shirt though.
Last time,
My t-shirt.
What? You're not prepared to put brand on because you're cold?
Yes, it's cold outside.
Well, we're not outside, we're inside.
Oh my word. This is where people are gonna drop.
You know, one of the biggest problems when it comes to business is your marketing guys want to hold you to brand, but then they rock up like this. I have brand, they don't have brand.
The one episode I'm not on brand is the episode that you noticed.
Could you imagine being an All Black or a Springbok and coming onto the field? I don't know, with an England jersey on.
For both those nations, you will get killed.
Yeah, and so why are you coming on with, I don't know, uncovering gold jersey?
Because that's what we do. We uncover gold in business.
Anyway,
Boom.
enough.
Okay.
Shite. Fine, thank you.
What's happening?
It's a great question.
So I wanted to do this is an interesting episode because I was doing some research and I was actually seeing a lot of this online. Hope. People are hoping the economy will change. People are hoping government will sort things out. People are hoping their customers will pay them. People are hoping. There's a lot of hope going on in the world at this present moment.
Hope. Robert Kiyosaki taught me something.
Mhm.
And I heard him say this a few times in the times that I was with him.
Yep.
Hope is for the hopeless.
Oof.
It's quite a tough statement.
It is.
And when I've said it in seminars and training, people look at me like, is this guy like lacks some heart? Not at all. Because when you actually dig into it, reality is hope. Hope is a very important thing in life. But hope based on a plan, hope based on action, hope based on things that you are doing to make a difference. That's a different thing. But just hoping that, I don't know, someone's going to give me money so that I can have a business, or hoping that my customers are going to pay me, or hoping that next year gets better, or hope is for the hopeless. You know, if you really want to have hope, you need to hope on a plan. You need to hope on action. You need to hope on the things you're doing. For me, faith and hope are key components of business. Because, if you go to what's one of the definitions of faith, and the biblical definition of faith, is, being sure of what you hope for and being certain of what you cannot see.
Yeah.
Okay. So in business, yes, we project our future. We have a vision and all that sort of stuff. And so you go, at the end of the year, this is what I'm looking for. Okay, I want to make R1 million, 10 million rand, whatever it is, build my business, have this, and this. Great. So you create a vision. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. And they're things that cannot be seen. They're not tangible physical things. So you have to have hope and faith.
Got you.
That I'm going to get there. But in the Bible, it also says hope without or faith without deeds is futile. So deeds is action.
Yes.
So you got to go and
take some action.
Take the necessary relevant action. In the words of Alan C. Walter, Alan says success is the ability to define a want. Okay, and the word define is very important. Define a want, not stand around the braai and talk about what would be nice one day. That's not defining a want. So the ability to define a want. In business, you have to define your wants. What do I want at the end of the year? Not throw around some fictitious, stupid number that you do not understand.
Yeah, that's just
define a want. Where am I sitting at the moment? What do I want? How much? And then define how I'm going to get there. Then define, am I prepared to do? And Alan says this. He says, success is the ability to define a want and then do what is needed to be done to achieve that want. When you are out there doing what is needed to be done, you operate in hope and faith because you have a belief that if I go do this, I'm going to achieve the unseen.
Yes. Just don't. Yeah.
So hope is very important, but hope without a plan. And many people are out there with no plan. not
Many
no
businesses.
clear action, operating on some fictitious advice from people that have never done what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And hoping that they're
Sure.
going to get something. Goodness me.
So what's the difference between hope and a real operating system? Like from what I'm understanding, from you're saying you have to have a plan. These are systems. These are actions, processes.
I think they're very different things. You put in an operating system.
Yes.
And you undertake and you operate the system
Mm-hmm.
with hope that you'll create the result that you can see.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to sit in front of my oven and hope that a frigging chocolate cake is going to pop out.
Yeah, that would be great.
Well, what's going to...
Nothing.
I can hope as much as I friggin' want. That doesn't make sense. I can hope I can talk about this. I can even tell you, Sully, I'm going to get a chocolate cake. Okay. From where? From my oven. And you're going to go, great.
Okay.
But so now and this, for some people, you'll be going, but that sounds daft. No, but when you simplify it, that's how people are operating. Mm-hmm. You're hoping you're going to make money next month. When I sit with business owners and with sales teams and I say, what is your strategy? What is your game plan? What is your process to get money at the end of the month? That's the recipe. What's your recipe to make money? Because if you're hoping to get a good cake out of the oven, you follow a recipe. Okay.
Yeah,
that cake could be a flop because you made a mistake. Great, but you do it again and hope that it gets better. In the hope,
because you're doing it.
In the hope, with faith that the more you do it, the better it will become. Yeah. But you have to follow the process. You get it?
Yeah. Can the team feel like in a business? Can a team feel when the business has been run on hope and not a clear plan or system?
Yeah. What are you managing your business on? What are you holding people accountable to? You hold people accountable to processes and systems. You don't hold people accountable to results.
Got you.
Okay.
Yep.
You don't hold people accountable. There's lots of things we teach: highest energy wins, positivity, all that sort of stuff. You don't hold people accountable to that. You hold people accountable to follow the process. Mm-hmm. If they follow the process, you have faith, belief, and hope that the results will come. Okay. If they don't come, you go back to the process and you look at the skills that are required within that process to tweak and change and get better. Mm-hmm. You look at the things within that process. So you go back to making a cake. You go back to the recipe and say, I was meant to mix the batter for 13 minutes instead of 9 minutes. Great, I better change. I was meant to put 2 spoons of sugar in, and I don't know if you like Barry. That looks like 2 spoons.
Yep.
You get it. So but without the process, you've got nothing to go back and measure on. So you put your process in place, and then you follow the process. You measure the process. You hold people accountable to the process. Then you measure the results. And with the result, you either got what you wanted or you didn't get what you wanted. And then you go back into the process and say, what do we need to tweak and change? Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that if I make enough phone calls, I'll make some money. Well, great. Well, how much is enough phone calls?
Yeah, that's a great question.
How much is enough phone calls? I don't know. Okay, good. Well, when you start off with, you say, okay, how many phone calls do I think is enough? I don't know. Well, let me find someone that's done what I'm going to do, or someone that has a similar business, or someone that understands sales, or someone that can help me. Great. Now you go, okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make 10 phone calls a day. Great. In the hope that if I make those 10 phone calls and use the script that I've been given and tweak what I'm doing, I will create the result.
Yeah.
You get to the end of the month, you've made your 10 phone calls, you held yourself at a high level of accountability to deliver on what you promised you were going to deliver on, and you don't get the result. You can go back and say, okay, well, maybe 10's not the number. Maybe it's 12, or maybe it's this, or maybe we don't understand the lag time, the period of time between when we've called someone and someone actually buys, and did we follow up? And that's how you start learning. And you start tweaking and changing that recipe, and your hope grows. Mm. And the better you become in it, sport team, Springboks don't run out on the field hoping they're going to have a good game.
No,
they play to a game plan. Mm. They're not. Yes, they have hope they're going to win. They have faith that they're going to win. They believe they're going to win, but based on a game plan, based on practice, based on their levels of fitness and all those type of things. Mm. But they can still lose.
They can.
And that's the same in business.
Yeah.
Whereas too many people in business, too many people in sales are out there not following a clear process, not following a recipe, and hoping that I get some results. And then, you ask them, why didn't you get, I've had too much admin. Well, admin is a piece of the process, but it's not the process to make money.
Yeah.
So we get stuck on emails and everything else, or people get stuck on emails and they're not following the process. There's some core things that you have to do in order to make it happen. It's like getting fit. You're going to get fit, follow a process.
Yeah. Tough process.
I'm not hoping that I'm going to be fit enough for another half Ironman. I've been following a process. What I do know is that in the last couple of weeks, my schedule has been upside down. I haven't been able to follow the process. Well, that's had an effect on me.
Yeah.
And it will have an effect on my end result.
Yeah.
But when I go back, I can tell you why. It's not an excuse. It's just, I tell you why.
Because you can see it.
Because I didn't follow the process. Yeah. And okay, great. So now I'll have a look at my result when I do the next half Ironman in June. And when I do the following one, maybe in November or next year, I'm going to follow but I can, in the belief and expectation that if I follow the process and I train and I do this, I will consistently improve and get a better result.
Yep.
Now on the day, I don't know, maybe things happen. Okay, great. Then you reconfigure because I can't guarantee the result, but I can follow the process. So that doesn't make sense.
Yep.
And you set yourself up for much better levels of success.
Yes. Yeah. Well, in the process. I mean, you working, you've done a lot of work with business owners. Can you see when the business owner is operating from hope?
Well, so let's just clarify this, Sunny. I think hope is an important thing.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about like what we talking about.
Okay. Can I see when someone is operating without a plan?
Yes.
Hell yes.
So what's your first step there?
Well, I asked them, what do you want in the next 10 years? What do you want in the next 3 years? What do you want in the next 1 year?
Okay.
Majority of business owners can't define that.
Why is that?
Because they're not sitting down defining it. Because they're not facing the truth. Because they're not going, okay, what are the real answers? Because it's for too many people in business, people live in this fantasy world of, I'm going to be a millionaire, a billionaire. I'm going to create these amazing. I'm not saying don't have big dreams, but with big dreams, you got to have an understanding of how to get there.
Yeah, fair enough.
You get there, and you got to understand the time that it's going to take you to get there, and you got to understand the obstacles that are going to get in your way to get there. And a lot of times, people aren't looking at the future because they don't want to be honest about the obstacles that are going to get in their way. So it's easier for many people to go out and, I don't know, today's word, hustle and bustle and do the
side hustle
with the hope of, being the next millionaire.
Confuse yourself.
So and many businesses are very successful. I worked with a number of businesses that are creating great success. But when you get absolute clarity in where you're going, and when you get absolute clarity in your processes, you just elevate your success.
Yeah,
because you manage your time better, you get much more productive, you get a lot more clarity, you stop putting out fires, you stop chasing stuff.
So exactly what you do.
So when we're talking like this is what I'm talking about is not just this is not about startup businesses. This is about businesses that are good functioning multi-million dollar businesses.
They look good
that have teams and all that sort of stuff. But when you honestly sit down at the business owner and the team and you go, what's actually happening in the business? There's chaos and firefighting, and there's systems, but they're not focused, and there's processes, but they're not clear, and we're not holding people accountable, and we're chasing money instead of chasing the process. And that's a natural progression in, I would say, all businesses.
Wait, hold on. You said chasing the process, chasing money instead of chasing the process. Can you define that? Chasing the process.
Yeah. So if I'm chasing money, every month I'm a sales guy, I'm chasing money. Well, there's a difference between chasing money and chasing the process. Chasing the process is I know what I have to do every single day, and I believe that if I do that every day based on the model that we've built, I'm going to create the result. Whereas if the only thing I'm doing is chasing the result, so some people are chasing money and they think if they close one big deal, their life's going to be saved. Well, it might be for the short term.
Sure.
But then when that big deal goes away, what happens?
The next.
So chasing the process is I find the recipe and I duplicate that recipe and do it again and again and again, and it will produce consistent results over time. Whereas, just focusing on money, when people just focus on money, a lot of times I think we make poor decisions, because we make decisions based on making money rather than actually decisions based on making sense.
Got you. If you guys missed that episode, it's just a few episodes down. Make Money or Make Sense. It was a great episode. Yes, continue.
So yeah, it's this, go back to it, instituting and putting in processes, measuring those processes, tweaking the processes, and holding yourself and other people accountable to deliver on the process. You're a business owner and let's say you don't have regular financials coming in. Well, you better be sitting down with your accountant or your bookkeeper or whoever's doing your financials. And then you go, okay, what's your process for delivering? So to start off with, you go, okay, well, we're not getting monthly financials. Okay, great. So starting from next month, we need monthly financials. Okay, what's the process to get monthly financials? So you create a process. And then you sit down with the accountant and go, okay, ideally, I'd like my financials by the 7th of the month.
Okay.
But can you deliver by the 20th of next month? Because having financials by the 20th of the next month is way better than not having any financials.
Yeah.
So you start out, it's not the ideal result, but it's the best result to start off with. So now you get your accounts department up and running and get your accountant to deliver, and you say, okay, we have a 3-month window. And in our world, the rock for this quarter will be by the end of the quarter to make sure that our financials are coming out by the 20th. So in month 1, the financials come out on the 29th. So we have a month lag period. Okay, great. At least now we can tick the box and say, right, we got financials. So what do you need to do in the process to get better so that we start getting it by the 20th? In month 2, we get it on the 22nd. In month 3, we get it on the 20th. Good. Well done. Right. Now we go into the next quarter and we go, okay, now what do we have to refine? So let's take it from the 20th to the 14th. So now we go from the 20th to the 14th, and that's our focus for the quarter. By the end of the quarter, we get it to the 14th. Now we go to the next quarter and we go, right, we're going to take it from the 14th to the 7th, because our ideal goal is by the 7th. By the end of that quarter, all things being equal, we have it by the 7th. And now we hold our accounting department accountable to deliver on the 7th every single month. We go into year 2, and guess what? We have our accounts on the 7th. But it's the process. Otherwise, we have a meeting. You go, everyone, we have to deliver by the 7th. But how are they going to deliver by the 7th? And unless you put the process in place and you tweak and change the process to get better and better and better, and within a period of time, you have it by the 7th, and then you hold them accountable to deliver on the 7th. Now you have an efficient, effective reporting structure within your business.
Would you say that most business, because I mean, we speak about, I think this is my take, but accountability is really a big part of what you do, what you teach when you go into business. Like, it's a really big thing. I feel that a lot of business owners struggle with holding people accountable because I think there's a misconception around accountability. It's not an aggressive thing, right? If I'm understanding. Like, I don't have to be an asshole to hold you accountable.
No, because if you are clear on the process, and you're clear on the deliverables, and you have agreement on all parties, well, I just hold you to the agreement. We do a podcast every week.
Yeah.
Why do we do a podcast every week?
Because we have an agreement that we will do a podcast every week.
No, because I have an agreement with you.
Yes.
That one of your deliverables is a podcast every week.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, not me. You said we.
Oh, yes. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you are accountable in our business for the podcast.
Yes.
The fact that I sit and do the podcast.
Yeah,
You've got to now make sure that you tie in my diary. You get me in this room. We sit here. We do the podcast.
Yes.
And the same with Nicole.
Yes.
So your deliverable, and that's now when we first started this podcast. Did you deliver one every week? No. So what did we say? Right, we need to get 2 a month, and we built up. Now it is very rare that we do not get a podcast in a week.
No, yeah,
and if I'm traveling for a week,
we do it before.
We do it before I travel.
Yeah, we'll do as many as we need to with the based of how long you're going to.
But you wouldn't have done that 2 years ago.
No, I'd have left it.
You would have left it and made excuses, and I couldn't put.
Very travel.
Does it make sense?
100%.
So whereas the more we've refined and held it, and we haven't had stand-up shouts and fights and all that sort of stuff.
No.
So and that's the process. Now you take that into anything, and you become more and more clear in your process, what you have to do, how you do it, when it gets done, what the time frames are. Now we deliver on a podcast.
Yeah.
Now, let's say we brought in a third person into our business, another trainer or somebody else that wants to partner with us. Could you duplicate the process?
Yeah, very simply.
Yeah. Now we go from 2 people doing podcasts, 2 podcasts a week, to 3 people doing podcasts a week. Now you may have to bring an assistant then to go, okay, how do we handle editing, booking, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
Right. Now could we take that to 5 a week?
Yeah, easily. Because I just need to produce. I just need to be a producer. I have somebody that I can go, here's the process of how we do what we do. Run the process.
So instead of you doing the things like making sure our studio is set up, all that sort of stuff,
research,
now you have somebody else that does the research, does this, and you give them, but you have created the process, so you can teach them the process.
Yes.
So they're not coming in and you go do some research for our next podcast.
No.
Okay. So you've learned the research that needs to be done on our podcast. Now you say to them, here's the process.
Yes.
Now follow the process.
Yes.
When they get to the week and go, oh, I didn't do any research. Why not? You don't say why not. You go, did you follow the process?
Yeah. Clearly, that's a piece you missed in the process. That's why you didn't do it. Okay. So how do we refine?
You get it.
Yeah.
So you create this process, then you hold people accountable to the process. If that person's not going to do it, well, what are you going to do?
Give them a warning.
Yeah. And then give them another warning. Then sure going to miss you. Bye. You don't fit in.
Yeah. You can't follow the process.
So
that's a tough one though, right? For a lot of business owners, is because firstly, you don't have you don't have a process. 2, you don't hold people accountable. And 3, you don't have a, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word, but I think you know what I mean. When you don't have those things in place right now, so you getting rid of somebody is very hard for you because you don't know how to actually do it.
Yeah. So you structure it based on agreement.
Yeah.
What was our agreement? Are we clear on the agreement? Did you do the agreement? No. Okay, great. What are the consequences?
Yeah.
And I know, for me, it's been something that I've had to learn, and I continually have to keep myself in check on that, is when you have the wrong people in your business, you got to move the wrong people on. Okay, wrong people don't mean bad people.
Yeah, please understand that.
Okay, they mean wrong people.
Yeah, letting go of people is not a bad thing.
They're not bad people. They don't fit into your organization. They're not doing what's needed to be done.
It's bad for both of you.
100%.
Yeah.
If you keep holding the wrong people, it's bad for them.
Horrible for them.
So you move them on. But you got to be clear in what's needed to be done. You got to be clear in your structures, clear in your processes. You got to be clear in your meetings. And that's a hard part, in Get Moving to Greatness. It's the top statement in the book, in this particular book. If it wasn't for people, business would be easy. But why do we find people so hard? Because we're not creating the context to hold them in space. We're not creating clear agreements.
Very true.
Recently, and I have, one of my biggest connections with Blair Singer right in the beginning when I first started working with him was this whole idea of context, building culture, creating a strong cup, creating a strong environment. For me, I just connected with that straight away.
Yeah.
And in most businesses that I'm going into, one, culture is unclear.
Very much.
And context is weak. And so the stronger your context, the stronger your values, the stronger your code of honor, the stronger your operational rules, the stronger your agreements, all those type of things, the stronger your cup. And the stronger your cup, the more you can protect it from heat and pressure. But you have to create that clarity.
Why is it that we can look at sport, right, and understand a culture and a context? We can look at I don't know many people who can't look at a sports team and go. So if we look at all the great teams, the All Blacks, the Springboks currently, Man United under Ferguson, Liverpool under Klopp, you could see
Arsenal. Sorry, I just had to put that.
Let's just keep going here.
Let's talk about Arsenal.
Arsenal's context is weak because it spent millions to do this. I'm joking, but yes, even then they have a strong context to have gotten to where they've gotten to 5-6 years, finishing second. But you can clearly see that there's a context and a culture in this sports team.
Yeah. Well,
when you say that,
there's always culture.
Yes.
Okay, culture always exists.
Okay.
Okay, it always exists.
Yeah.
even if you can't really define it, it exists. It becomes a standard way that most people do things, that you hang out.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
You get it.
Yeah.
Many businesses, many people can't define their values.
Yes.
They're like, oh, I think this.
It kind of is this.
So the stronger your culture, the more you can define it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay, you define it. You go, this is who we are. Not, well, so you have to, the stronger your culture, you know, if you want to understand the All Blacks are very clear what their culture is.
Yep.
They have a set of rules, they have a code of honor, they have values, very clear, and everybody is expected to play. There's no ambiguity. In many teams, there's ambiguity.
Ooh, yes.
There's no, why? Because they're actually not focusing on the context. They're not focusing on building culture. They're focused on contents. They're focused on delivery. In many sales teams, they're not focused on culture. They're not focused on context. They're focused on content, products, and all that sort of stuff. Yes, those are important. But if your cup is weak, if your culture is weak, if your context is weak, if your values are weak, if your disciplines are weak, you won't apply all the great stuff inside. You get that? So your question was why in sport? Well, when we play a game of soccer, where's the result?
What do you mean? The result at the end of the game?
Well, it comes 90 minutes later.
Yeah.
So in sport, you feel the result
immediately
now.
Essentially, yeah.
You go to the World Cup, you feel the result now. You get kicked out of the World Cup, you feel it now. In business, you don't feel it now. You don't make your phone calls today. You don't feel your bank account shrinking. You don't feel the pain that you're going to feel in 6 months' time because you're not doing the actions and activity.
It's a slow death.
It is.
It's a slow death.
Yeah. So sport, and because you're watching sport, it's real time. We don't watch our business in real time.
Interesting, man.
So take that analogy. Think about it. If we were to go to a business and go, right, we are going to watch this business, and we could watch all the players playing every single day for 30 days, what would we see? Would we see them playing to the game plan? Would we see them passing the ball? Would we see them doing what they agree to do? Well, if there's no clear agreements, then they're not going to do. So in sport, you have a very clear game plan. You go on the field, everyone hopefully knows what they're going to do. If they don't know what they're going to do, you're not going. It's highly likely you're not going to win the game.
You get subbed off.
You can still have the best players in the world, but you have the wrong game plan, and you have weak culture, and people are playing as individuals. The best players on the field generally will not beat
a team that has a plan,
that has very good players, maybe not great players, but plays as a team, as a culture, as a team, sticks together as a team, has the behaviors of a team. Does that make sense? So in sport, you can see it immediately.
Oh, you know why this is fascinating? Because I just finished watching The Miracle of Istanbul on Netflix, the Liverpool story where we were 3-0 down against AC Milan. And one of the things they speak about is actually at that point in time, the culture was horrible. It was a losing team. They had great players, but they had like 2 or 3 great players. The rest of the team was super average. Everybody knew it. New manager comes in and starts putting in new systems and new things, and guys are hating it. They do not like it. They didn't want to follow it. They were like, what is going on?
I see that in business all the time. We go into companies, we put in culture, we get pushback from people.
Yeah, because you can't, and that's the thing, because you can't see it right now, right?
No.
I can't see the benefits of doing this. I can't see the crazy part is that the fans, from the way I understood it, the fans, when the team came out at second half, 3-0 down, game is done. Commentators are like, this is going to be a bloodbath. Liverpool comes out, the fans are singing, "You'll Never Walk Alone."
Yeah.
These guys are like, whoa, these guys are still behind us. My understanding was because the fans understand the culture of this club, we do not stop. We keep going no matter what.
But because that culture of Liverpool is, I don't know, how long has the Liverpool Football Club been going?
I might be wrong here, but I think 1872.
Okay, great.
I think.
So I don't know, 150 years.
Easily.
150 years. There's a deep-seated culture for 150 years. Now, you can lose that culture over time.
Yeah.
But if you keep reigniting it, keep holding it strong, you put the players into that culture.
Yeah.
That's what creates it. So what did Ferguson do? He built culture.
He brought it back.
That's why Man United through Ferguson was so good. Why the All Blacks are the winningest sports team in the history of team sport? Why? Culture. What has Rassie Erasmus done to the Springboks?
Culture. Big time. Big
Yes,
time.
rugby's the game, but we've always had great rugby players
Always,
in South Africa.
actually.
The game of rugby hasn't dramatically changed. The skills are still there,
We've had horrible cultures,
100%.
horrible
So
context.
So it's the same in business. So you go back to your question, why in sport? Because you can see the end result very quickly in sport. So if you take that analogy, can you imagine we went into business and could film every single person in a business every single day to see how they were playing the game, how they were passing the ball? Can you imagine being able to put that on a TV screen and say, this is the game of business for the month? You'd have half the soccer team are in the toilet in the middle of a penalty shootout.
Having a smoke break.
The goalkeeper's phoning in saying, sorry, I'm sick. I can't come to work today.
We don't have a keeper.
The business owner's running up and down being goalkeeper, penalty kicker, frigging goalkeeper, running all over the place, cucking on everyone because they didn't come to work. Yeah.
No, I think it would be that. We'd be watching that in real time, right?
But you get it. So if you can, those of you listening to this,
yeah,
if you can visualize that, that's how many of you are running your businesses like
that. Look at your business.
If you looked at your business right now, like right now, it was a game of rugby or a game of soccer, a game of hockey on the field, where would your freaking players be? Where would they be? How many of them would actually be in formation, holding their position in the spot, ready to receive the ball? How many of them would be arguing with each other about, it wasn't my fault that you passed the ball and I'm not going to kick the ball or handle? It would be freaking chaos, chum.
This is a great analogy.
But how many people run their businesses like that every single day? That's why, as a business owner, doesn't matter how big your business is, as a senior manager, that's why you get so frustrated.
Yeah.
Because your context is weak. Your culture is weak. You're not holding accountability to that context and culture. How do I know that? Because I've spent 32 years in my own businesses and with my own teams and helping hundreds of other businesses, thousands of other people build businesses and culture. And that's one of the biggest, Gilbert Anoka, who's the most well-known mindset coach with the All Blacks, says this, and it's such a powerful statement. Culture will eat strategy for lunch. Culture will eat strategy for lunch. And most of the time we focused on strategy in businesses. Strategy is great. You need a strategy. You have to have a game plan. You have to. But if the culture is not strong enough to hold to the game plan, you're done.
Game over.
You're done.
You're constantly changing it. You're constantly changing
it.
And that's why.
Whereas culture will supersede no game plan. If you have a strong culture, people will get out and do what's needed to be done, even if they don't know what they need to do. And you'll make things happen. And over time, you'll develop that strategy. Whereas you can have the amount of businesses I've been with, worked with, that can tell me, I have this clear strategy. And I go, why is it not working? And no one's doing what they should be doing. Because the culture sucks. There's a lack of accountability, lack of responsibility, all that sort of stuff.
It's an awesome strategy. It's a brilliant strategy.
It is. It's a wonderful
world-class strategy.
And next year, the same plan prevails.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that that's really something we're seeing now with AI, right? People are jumping to, we need to add AI into our strategy, into our plan, into all of this. But your culture is so horrible that it doesn't even matter how you can have the most premium version of any AI. And it's still going to tank.
Yes,
it's not going to build the culture.
100%. You look at the great, I don't know, the greatest fighting forces, some of them that the world has seen, the Spartans.
Yep.
Yes, their content was they learned how to fight.
Yeah.
But what made them such great warriors is who they were being when they were fighting. It's the context.
Yeah.
It's the support structure they had. It's the men were supported by their women to be warriors.
Yeah, from start to finish.
Does that make sense? The woman, in simple terms, bred warriors, and it wasn't questioned. That's who they were.
Yeah,
closer to home, the Zulus.
Yeah,
under Shaka, warriors. So
strong context.
So context and culture. So in our business, it's this. People say to me, do you teach soft skills?
What soft skills?
Well, that's what can you teach people, mindset and do all this? Those are not the soft skills. Those are the hard friggin' skills. The soft skill. Anyone can teach a script. Anyone can learn a friggin' script. Kids are going through school all the time, scripting, coming out, going, wow, you're so smart. Because what do they do? They learned the friggin' script.
Read this.
They learned the script, memorized it, wrote a test.
The script.
But when the heat and pressure comes, can they apply what they learned? So it's the emotional intelligence. It's it's all those type of things that hold us in that space. It's the discipline, the accountability.
Why do you think that we call those things soft skills? Because it's the hardest thing to do, building mindsets, building personal development, applying. Actually, let's just go with applying things that you learn.
That's the hard stuff.
That's not a soft skill.
No, that's the hard skill.
Hard. But why did we go that direction?
I get it because the script in that are tangible things. So that's the meaning of meaning of hard.
Okay.
The meaning of soft, they're intangible.
I can't see it.
I get that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just flipped that around. It's not the intangible. It's the meaning of hard versus soft.
Yeah, I think that it becomes pretty tangible where you can actually see somebody on your team applying what they
100%.
You can see it.
You see it.
You can see their change.
You see people's change. Mindset, personal development. You see people's change.
Yeah.
When people are just being informed, you see there's no change. You see. So 100%, chum. That's the deal is if you hope for a better future, create a strong context. When you have a strong context, when you have strong values, morals, disciplines, when you have a strong code of honor, when you're clear on those type of things, that'll hold you in the space to be able to apply the plans and game plans that you want to apply to achieve the result that you hope to achieve. Without that,
done. Hope you guys enjoyed this one.
Hey, I'm gonna watch soccer on TV with a different thinking.
That's a sales rep.
There's a sales rep. Oh, there's the useless dude. Oh, there's the production manager. Oh,
the marketing guys are over there piled together, making up nonsense. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. See you guys next week.